Hello guys, it's FMTECH here, and this is the Nothing Phone 2. And I've been using this phone for the past couple of months, and I'll be giving you guys a comprehensive review of the Nothing Phone 2 and helping you guys decide if you should buy this or skip this phone. First of all, the software of the phone. The software experience is the main highlight of this phone, and it's one of the best in the market as it's clean, minimal and smooth. Now let's move on to the looks of the UI. The looks are pretty aesthetic and minimal. Apart from the quick settings, I do like this UI pretty much. As you can see, it does have uniform grayscale icons across the board and not even one icon is left out. Now let's move on to the home screen. The home screen has nothing widgets and it does provide a good purpose as well as aesthetic to the Nothing phone. As you can see, these are toggleable quick settings on the home screen as well as a clock, which is designed by Nothing. Now let's move on to the quick settings. The quick settings are also designed and modified by Nothing, and it's just a bit different from the stock Android. As you can see, the two big quick setting styles are for Bluetooth as well as the network. This can be tapped one time to expand these settings, and it's a usable as well as aesthetic thing. But these icons are very polarizing in the market and it does not look that great, but it does provide a purpose. Now let's move on to the feel of the OS. Nothing OS feels snappy and there are little to no bugs, and it's just a buttery smooth experience with no bloatwares. It's a minimal OS with no unnecessary features and all the necessary features are available. Animations are perfect in most cases and it does not lag at all. If you don't believe me, you can just visit a Chroma store near you and just look at the feel of the OS there. Now moving on to the features. Now let's move on to the features of Nothing OS. Nothing OS does provide minimal yet useful features. The necessary features such as app lock and the app cloner is available. As you can see, when you head on to app section, you can see clone apps feature as well as app lock, which are necessary these days for using multiple accounts. You also get Nothing widgets as well as lock screen widgets, which will help you in doing the Nothing customizations yourself. As you can see, heading over to lock screen, you can customize the lock screen with widgets as per your wish. And in the home screen, you can also add those widgets here, which does become seamless, and you wouldn't have to swipe down the quick settings to enable these toggles. So overall, it does have all the features available to you and in the minimal sense. Now moving on to the issues showing the software. The issues are some missing features such as 3-finger swipe for screenshot, and there are HDR issues with the camera. Sometimes the HDR is good and sometimes the HDR is trash, but most of the times it's good. So I'd say some camera optimizations will do wonders for this camera hardware. Now let's talk about the display of the phone. The display is a 6.7-inch LTPO display which can go from 1 to 120 Hz depending on the content. As you can see, it's now on 60 Hz and it will go up to 120 when you swipe around in the system, as you can see. So it's a dynamic display that changes refresh rate according to the usage. As you can see, the content does look wonderful in this display and it's a joy to watch content on this display. The display goes up to 1600 nits in HDR and it's enough for outdoor use. It is pretty much visible outdoors, so there are no complaints about the display. Apart from a software issue, that is, there is no HDR in Netflix because Nothing didn't pay Netflix for HDR. That's the only issue with this phone. So in this price range, if you are looking for a good display, you should look now ahead and get the Nothing Phone 2. Now let's move on to the battery life. The phone does have a 4700 mAh battery and the battery life is pretty great, and it is one of the best battery phones you can buy in the market. If you have any doubts, you can refer to the GSM Arena website, and I have been getting 7 to 8 hours of SOT on 5G and 8 to 9 hours of screen on time with 4G, and on Wi-Fi you can extend it up to 10 hours. It's a great phone for battery life, and if you're looking for a battery champ phone, you can get this phone. But the fast charging is not as great as the OnePlus or other BBK phones. This does get full charged in 65 minutes, which is pretty average in these days in the world of 100 watt chargers. It does have 15 watt wireless and 5 watt reverse wireless charging features. So if you are looking for a good battery phone in the sub $500 price range, you should really get this phone. Now let's talk about the cameras. There are dual cameras on the back. One is a wide angle camera and the other is ultra wide angle camera. The main camera is a IMX890 from Samsung, and the secondary camera is a Samsung Gen1 sensor. Both are 50 megapixel sensors and can record up to 4K 60 fps. As you can see, the camera does click good pictures and the hardware is good. The only issue is that sometimes the HDR does mess up and you would not get great photos every time. 7 out of 10 times you would get a good picture, but 3 by 10 times you would not get a great picture. And they do have to optimize the software more and more, as they have been doing so in the past updates. So I'd recommend this phone for cameras, but if you are a camera geek, I would recommend the Pixels, but they are not great overall phones like the Nothing Phone 2. First of all, let's talk about the hardware of the phone. The phone is a glass sandwich metal design and the frame is made up of aluminum. It has flat frame and iPhone-like buttons. And on the back there is a Gorilla Glass transparent back which does look fantastic. On the front there is also Gorilla Glass. So the phone is not a small phone, it's 6.7 inches and it does not feel handy in the hand. Even though they have curved the glass panel on the back, it does not feel handy at all. You would feel pain after using this phone for a couple of times, just like the iPhone 15 Pro Max models. This does just feel like the iPhone 15 Pro Max without the heft. So if you like handy phones, you would hate this phone, and if you are okay with this form factor as all other phones in these days, so you are in for a treat with good software, hardware and good cameras. So this concludes my review of the Nothing Phone 1, and I'd recommend you buy this phone if you get it for $500 as I did. I got this phone for 41,000 rupees or $410, so it was a steal deal in my opinion. So if you get a good deal on this phone, just get it. If you do not get this phone at $600 range, just skip this phone and get the OnePlus 11.